Hi, hello. I just finished my capstone project, so I wanted to go ahead and talk about not only some of the inspirations that I've used for this project, but also what I've gone through in order to create Swing It Sally. So one of the big things I used was a video documentary on Ken Burns and his style of writing jazz and playing jazz. And one of the big things he talks about is dissonance, which one of the main components of Sally's song from A Nightmare Before Christmas is how crunchy, which is a word that we use in jazz to define dissonance. It's just a way that we can describe how the music feels. We use it to describe how everything feels, and then we go from there. So dissonance creates that crunchiness that we talk about. And Ken Burns, in his video, which is talking about like that is the foundation of a lot of jazz, specifically a lot of blues jazz as well. You know, you go listen to the blues, and there's a lot of these crunchy chords. You know, these chords that are built with different scale degrees and different things that make it different from Western music, or modern classical Western music. So using that video, and then using one of my college textbooks actually. So this is just one of the workbooks that I had to use when I was going through theory. This workbook is filled with things such as different styles of playing and their different time signatures, which is how many beats per measure and things like that, and then which note gets the beat. So Sally's jazz is comprised of 4/4, 2/4, and a measure of 5/4. So what that means is the top number gives you how many beats are in a measure, so that's like the corresponding note, and the bottom number tells you what note is getting the beat. So in 4/4, 3/4, and 5/4, all of it is the quarter note, which is going to be just a single donation. Looks like that. And 4/4, 4 beats to a measure, 3/4, 3 beats to a measure, and 5/4, 5 beats to a measure. So it makes it really nice. Super easy to follow. It's part of the reason that I also did this song, because I knew it had that changing meter and help add to the crunchiness of the song, which was really cool. So in my workbook, a lot of things I would try to go over was a lot of things I went over was phrasing. Where'd it go? Here it is. I went over phrasing as well. Oh, lost it. I went over phrasing, which is just how it's kind of like stages in music. So when we talk about phrasing, you know, we see in this first example how it is a 4-bar phrase. So when you would play it in a sense that this 4-bar phrase is a sentence, pretty much. That's how phrasing works. So in the Sally song that you'll see is a full phrasing of, I just typically did anywhere between 4 and 6 measures. So it just has all that phrasing so that it's complete sentences. So that was a big inspiration that I took from here. As well as just general Western style of music. That in and of itself was something that was a little bit more difficult, because Western styles of music, especially classical music, are written in such, how do I really say it? They're written in such a basic form. Everything is so many rules. You have to follow all these rules, and if it doesn't work and you don't follow those rules, it's not correct. So like one of the big rules is something called no parallel fifths, which is 2 notes that are played and they're 5 notes apart from each other. So like a C and a G. So those 2 things are labeled as fifths, and if you were to move them up and then play a D and an A right after the C and the G, those are parallel fifths, and those are not allowed in Western music. But in jazz, it doesn't matter. That's the beauty of jazz. You can do all these different things. So another thing that I had to take inspiration from was I wanted to take inspiration from different styles of music. One of the big things that I used was a song called So What? It's by Miles Davis. This is just the piano chart, because, you know, I'm a pianist, so that's what I know. So that's what I know to really look for and read. So, you know, I'm looking at this and I'm looking at the style of the blocked chords. I'm looking at the style of how everything is written to go ahead and base my project off of. So What in the piano world is not only super well known across jazz, but a lot of it boils down to block chords for piano. So you'll see that a lot in Swing It Sally. Another inspiration was Bessie's Blues. A lot of that was used for kind of how to compose. So my song is included with a trumpet instrumentation, a bass instrumentation, a jazz drum set, and piano. So almost a jazz combo, more of a jazz solo. So Bessie's Blues is again a John Coltrane piece. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful piece. But I kind of based the trumpet part and how a trumpet part moved, incorporating Sally's song off this. So you'll see that it's kind of like that 1, 2, and kind of feel, that nice triplet, that swing feel. So I used that as a huge inspiration. And then the last thing that I used, which was definitely probably the most fun I had with it in writing this piece, was the ability to write a piano solo, which is actually kind of how the piece closes out. So we've got the main section, it repeats itself, and then I go ahead and in the actual Sally song, there's like this one final phrase that she sings. I went ahead and put that into the trumpet part after the piano solo to help close out the piece. But the piano solo, I took so much inspiration from Count Basie, one of his big songs, 1 O'Clock Jump. It is one of my favorite piano solos that he's done. His piano solos are super short, sweet, and they just they're very simple almost in terms of listening, in terms of playing, and that's what adds a lot of flavor, as we would say in the jazz world, to everything. So his piece is wonderful. I love it. So a lot of his inspiration a lot of that inspiration for the piano solo that you'll see in Sally's song comes straight from that. So I appreciate all the time that you're taking to watch it.